In last week's video, we fixed a ton of major issues with our 2003 Jeep Wrangler TJ. Although we have it looking like $1,000,000 now, we still have one major thing that we need to address: the death wobble.
Oh my god.
Ever since our very first test drive, we knew the insane death wobble was going to be one of the major things we needed to address on this Jeep. We have it running without dying. We have the appearance looking a lot better. We fixed tons of rust everywhere. But now we really have to get onto this. Because without addressing this, no matter how good it runs, it's not going to drive good at all. Now you can see one of the owners in between my ownership actually put a dual shock steering stabilizer with quite a bit of a different setup there. So today I've got this entire stack of parts that we're going to be throwing on the Jeep Wrangler TJ. That way we can hopefully get this thing back on the road. Not only are we addressing the death wobble, I also have some extra things. We're going to change out the oil. We're going to be throwing a new style of exhaust on and fixing just about everything else. That way this thing is finally ready to go down the road and at least maybe be able to drive it to work a few times before summer is over. Now, aside from these parts, I actually have some other steering components as well, but we're going to try to fix the death wobble with the least amount of effort. So keep in mind, up until this point, since we've got the Jeep, we've already addressed all new suspension, we put all new body mounts on, and the adjustable control arms. So those are three very big pieces of the puzzle to get rid of the death wobble. What we're going to start with next is going to be the steering stabilizer. I got a Rough Country OEM style replacement, and I think that's going to be a big help. Aside from that, we also got all new ball joints, so if we need to take it to that step, we have the all new ball joints. And then we also have all the parts and pieces required to do the crossover steering swap. So if all else fails, we'll be jumping onto that. Now, before we dive too deep into today's video, I've got to show you an awesome product from today's video sponsor, 3W Liners. Now, 3W Liners has been a longtime supporter of the channel. We've had these in our Bronco Raptor, in our Grand Cherokee, and a few different sets in our Wrangler. And today, they've sent us out a fresh set for the Rubicon 392. Now, those of you that have watched the channel for any amount of time, you already know that 3W Liners makes laser cut, custom fit, all-weather floor mats. We've got both fronts here. We've got our one-piece rear floor mat. And then, of course, we have our huge rear cargo cover. Now, they don't just make these floor mats for Wranglers and Broncos. They offer them for Grand Cherokees, Expeditions, F-150s, all kinds of stuff, Toyotas included. Now, as you can see, these mats have been put through the ringer, but one of the best things about them is that they're so easy to clean off. Now, you can see with that big lip all the way around the edge, it really keeps all of the dirt right in one place. And the same thing for the rear. That custom fit makes sure that the lip comes right up to the edge and it holds in as much of that dirt as possible. Now, although they do clean super easy, you still have to make the decision to clean them. Now, obviously, my rear cargo area gets a ton of abuse. This is where we throw all the tools, all the extra parts, and anything else you can possibly imagine. But this 3W floor liner in the rear has really stood up to the test. I've been super happy with the durability on all of these mats from 3W, no matter what vehicle they're in. And they have so many different options. Whether you have a subwoofer in the back, whether you have a 2-door, a 4-door, a JL, a JK, no matter what you have, 3W Liners has got you covered. Now, having them in the Bronco as well as the Rubicon 392, I've gotten so used to just how clean the interior can stay. You can see in the Bronco Raptor, they do the exact same thing. They really fit up to the edge well, and they have an anti-curl feature. That way they're not going to wrinkle up like a lot of the other mats you see on the market. Now, you never really appreciate all-weather floor mats as much as you should in the moment, but I can tell you from experience, whenever it comes time to clean them, you're going to be happy that you have them. So if you're interested in getting a set for yourself, check them out down in the link in the description below and use my discount code right here to make sure that you get the best deal. A huge thank you to 3W, but for now, let's get back to it. Now, although this looks like an OEM steering stabilizer, this is actually made by Rough Country, so I think that's pretty cool, and it came with all the hardware we should need. So first, let's jump under the Jeep, take off those old steering stabilizers, throw this one on, and see what kind of difference it makes. Well, now that that's done, it certainly looks a lot better, but the question is, will it work better? Now, I actually had the factory style steering stabilizer on it whenever I had it, and it drove just fine, except for whenever you hit some pretty crazy bumps. But that was with the factory steering stabilizer. So I think this should work. Now that we've adjusted the caster with our longer control arms, we did the cam bolt deletes, so we don't have those cam bolts on there anymore. I think all that's going to come together. Now, I do know our steering wheel is really off, so I would like to fix that before we even start addressing the alignment. So all we'll need to do is loosen the bolts right here on the drag link, and then we'll be able to adjust that steering wheel from there. Now, I'm going to show you guys just how crooked this steering wheel is. Now, I think this is what straight looks like for now. Now that that's adjusted just a little bit, let's see if it's any better. That feels pretty good. Now, before we start messing with the alignment, let's take it down the road and see how bad it really feels like it's off. Because it may not be as bad as we think now that we have the steering wheel kind of straight. Well, now we're cruising at about 40 miles an hour and the steering wheel actually feels really good. No crazy bouncing. And actually, the steering wheel feels lighter now than it did previously whenever we were testing it out. It feels a lot more like the way I remember the steering. Pretty light. I mean, it's just a little Dana 30 with 33s, so nothing too crazy. Our new lights, they are so good. We can angle them up a little bit, but they look great. We're cruising at 50 right now, hitting some pretty good bumps. And look, I've got my hand off the steering wheel. This is absolutely insane. It is driving so good. Look at that wheel. Still just a hair crooked, but it is so much better. This is crazy. Look at that. Let's go over a bump here. Pretty good bump. See what happens. Oh my gosh, it feels so good. I'm afraid to mess it up. Now let's get on it one good time here and see how that goes. Well, that was the longest drive I've taken it on yet. Voltage is still good. Oil pressure keeps coming back and forth. Need to get a new oil pressure sensor. Temperature is staying really good, so that's a good thing to see. But we are leaking a bunch of oil. Now, obviously, we need to do a full oil change on it, but I really don't want to do it yet because I think we need to replace the entire oil pan gasket because it looks like it's seeping from there pretty aggressively, as you can probably see. I mean, it is dripping a steady stream of oil. It's not good. But the next thing I want to do now is focus on this exhaust. And I think I'm going to cut it right there. But while we let that cool down, I do have some other things that we can do. Obviously, the hood, that is a problem. So I got some new hood latches to see if that will help. Surely it will. So these are the hood latches that we got for it. Seems like they will be a little bit adjustable, so that'll be nice. I don't know how adjustable, but at least a little. They've got plastic tabs. Not a huge fan of that, but whatever. The whole thing is plastic right now. So let's go over there and get these things set up and thrown on. I swear, every single thing we do on this Jeep is not an easy task. Everything has to turn into some uphill battle. But after a little bit of time, we finally do have these adjustable locking hood latches in with the hood pins. They've got this little key. That's one thing I don't like. You end up having to twist the inside with this little key thing to pull them out. I guess that's good if you're in an area that you're concerned about it. But they are on there. They're secure. And I don't think we're going to have any more issues of our hood flopping around. Now, with that, I can tell that we are a little uneven. We've still got a gap over here. And then over here, it's tight all the way down. Maybe I can loosen this side up. Well, no, I guess it wouldn't matter. This side, really what I would need is to tighten it down a little bit more. But that's all the adjustment that's got. So it's got, I mean, the slightest amount of movement, but just enough to hear a noise. Not really too big of a concern. I actually think this gap was like that before, so oh well, not very concerned with that. these are going to be really good, and that hood's not going to be fluttering around in the wind. So now that we've got all that done, I'm about ready to throw on the rear fenders. We're going to refinish them later, the same time we redo the whole paint job. But for now, I'm ready to just go ahead and throw them back on. Put the inner fender well liner back on this side because it does protect a little bit of the electronics on this side. And then we can go ahead and put on our new exhaust. And now it's finally time to put on this exhaust. So I just got the same Amazon muffler that we used on the XJ. It sounded really good. Now we have the tough call of where do we cut it? That's where the aftermarket muffler somebody put in is. You can see you can't really access it because of the transfer case, transmission, cross member. So my plan right now is to cut it about right here. That's where we spliced in the tailpipe back in the day. So I'm probably going to cut it there. We've got a bracket somewhere in the middle over here that we'll have to try to reuse, but we can just weld that onto it if we need to. Yeah, not really a good plan. I'm just cutting it right there. We'll build the rest of the exhaust to at least get back here to do a rear axle dump. That should be fine. Well, I spent a little time after we got this horrible, nasty old setup out, setting this up. I was going to weld everything up and make it look really good, but I think for now we should go with a temporary setup to see if this is going to work. Essentially, this is going to be able to bolt right past my cat that is gutted, and then it's going to dip and dump right before the rear axle. So it should be pretty good. I've got everything marked up. I do need to get 2 extra 2.5-inch clamps. Since I'm not welding anything to it, I'm going to be using one of these attachments here that does need a clamp, and then one clamp for the end there. After that, the exhaust should be good. But tomorrow we're going to start it up, and we're going to see just how loud the exhaust is without a muffler, catalytic converter, anything, because that's actually how I used to drive it back in high school. And then we'll see how big of a difference it makes with this Amazon muffler. Now it is the next morning, and it's finally not 2 o'clock at night. So let's start this thing up with no cats and no muffler on it. I just want to show you guys what it sounds like. Now keep in mind, I literally used to drive it like this whenever I was in high school, and I got multiple tickets for it before I put a muffler on it. But I thought it was so cool and sounded good. So as you can tell, way too loud now that I'm not 15. But I think just putting that muffler on there is going to make a huge difference. And now that we know that setup is way too loud, I went and got 2 extra clamps, and we're going to be able to set this up temporarily. If we do like the way that it sounds, the way that it fits, all that stuff, I'll weld it up. But for now, we'll be using these clamps just to make sure we get everything dialed in. I've already got the exhaust tip connected to the muffler. It's a direct connection. And then we've got this 2.5-inch pipe that is going to go over top of our factory pipe coming down past our catalytic converter. I'll connect it with a 2.5-inch clamp, then use this other 2.5-inch clamp for the hanger, and we should be good to go. And now we have it all installed. So there is our tailpipe right there, our turn down right before the axle. Should keep all the fumes away and go underneath the car. And then starting from the top, we've got our factory downpipe cat right there, a section that we welded in forever ago, another section, and then we got our clamp for our new section of exhaust. So I had to get creative for an exhaust hanger on this. I ended up using a clamp, an exhaust hanger, and then a factory bolt right there. So that ended up working out pretty well. Then we have the exhaust down there, and this is super strong. We've got tons of clearance right there, so we're not gonna have any rattling or anything like that. Should sound good. Let's turn it on and see what she sounds like now. Sounds pretty good. A lot better than it did. Now let's take it for a little ride and see how it sounds on the road. That's for sure, and that's 60 miles an hour again. No death wobble, nothing. The steering wheel feels really good. I mean, that's straight. That sounds good to me. Just loud enough and not that bad whenever you're not getting on it. But when you want it to, whenever you want to hear it, you certainly can. And now that all that's done and the exhaust sounds really good, we're going to go ahead and do the first oil change on it, change out an oil pressure sensor, and just a couple other things. I do have, or should have, an oil pan gasket that should show up here any minute. And then this thing is at least going to be done for this phase. Now, typically I always put 5W30 in that Jeep, but today we're going to be putting 10W30 in. We're going to be using a little bit stronger filter as well. I'm sure it hasn't been taken care of properly. And now with that done, that's going to be a wrap for this week's video. This week we accomplished a lot. The main thing, just ensuring that we got rid of that death wobble. I really think if you guys go back and watch some of the previous videos, the all new suspension, the adjustable control arms, cam bolt delete, we did the all new body mounts. I really think that made a big difference. The steering stabilizer on top of it and straightening out the steering wheel, of course, made a difference. But all of those things work together to eliminate our death wobble. Now there's still so much left to do on the TJ, and we have a lot of other videos planned for it. So if you guys are interested in seeing where this TJ ends up, make sure you go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see next. But until then, Godspeed.